Good morning. Today we are going to discuss Background Casually by Nissi Magical. We will try to analyze it critically. So in this poem you will find certain points on the basis of which we will see the poem. Detached casual attitude. You will find that the poem moves from present to past and past to present. There is an element of humor and banter. You will feel, the poet feels the problem of adjustment, his commitment to India, and the feeling of rootlessness and helplessness. So, background casually is included in the Hymns in Darkness, which is his collection of poems. It is an autobiographical poem. As the title suggests, the poet, while recalling his past, assumes a detached, casual attitude. Throughout the poem, you will see that it moves from present to past and past to present. The tone remains casual. It is perhaps the significance of the past that makes the poet adopt a detached stance and reports in a casual tone. One cannot escape the obvious humor and banter as the poet vivifies for his memories of what Charu Bhagat calls a lifeless past. The poem is in 3 sections, each section consisting of 5 stanzas. In the first section, the poet calls himself, in a lighter vein, a poet, rascal, clown. He recalls his childhood days filled with a sense of fright and failure. He was a frightened, restless child, very lean and thin. Unlike other normal children, he was poor at games. He could not fly a kite. He failed to spin his borrowed top. As he was a Jew, he had to face numerous difficulties. In a Roman Catholic school, he was ill treated by both Christians and the Hindus. The Christians told him that he was the killer of Christ. A Muslim boy boxed his ears. The Hindu boys were great bullies and terrorized him. He too had developed a dislike for the undernourished Hindus. His parents wanted to make him a Jewish priest. Though he attended prayers, he realized his morals had declined. So he found himself unfit to be a priest. Right? At this stage of 22, he went abroad with the help of his friend Abraham Al-Kaji. In England, he lived in a basement room in utter poverty and dedicated himself to the study of philosophy and writing of poetry. In a vivid, lucid manner, the poet remarks in the poem, I am quoting the lines from the poem: philosophy, poverty, and poetry, 3 companions shared my basement room. Now we come to the second section. In second section, the poet recalls his London days. In London, he had a hard and cheerless life without bothering about the happenings around him. The sense of failure makes the poet realize that it was useless to stay in London and thus waste his time. He decided to come back to India. As he had no money, he had to work as a sailor, scrubbing decks, carrying coal on the English ship. taking ammunition to Indochina. While back to India, he had to face the problem of adjustment. So again, line from the poem, how to feel at home was the point. How to feel at home was the point. The adjustment, while irritating noisy Hindus, seemed very difficult. In the course of time, the poet got married and did many jobs. He had a drifter's incense and realized his folly. So such was his past, about which he has written in the poem. Although there is much left to write about, all of a sudden a shift comes in the poem. The poet remarks that his ancestors belonged to the caste of Telis, who used to earn their living by crushing seed oils. He recalls the scene of oil-seed crushing machine around which the hooded bullocks used to move continuously for hours together. Now, the third section. The third section carries on with the memories of his ancestors from the previous section. The poet recalls how one of his ancestors, a major, used to narrate tragic war stories of the Boer War to his father. Such stories resulted in horrifying dreams to the poet. He would dream of wild, strong man who had bound his hand and feet. Then he could dream only of words. But at the time he did not know that right words often betray poets. So in a sort of confession, the poet says that his early poetry is deficient in the use of appropriate words and reality. He recalls his previous resolve, appropriate words, and have a tight hold on reality. Then he again comes to the present. I have already told you the poem is moving from present to the past and past to the present. Coming to the present, he says how he tries to have a simple and plain view of life. He makes the best use of his inner passions, longing, turmoils, as such of external difficulties and problems of life that are in store for him. So such are the inner experience and the outer experiences that he is portraying in his poetry. In the last two stanzas, the poet makes his commitment very clear. He says that whatever may be the limitations in the milieu he belongs to, he stands committed to it. He is committed to India, to the city where he lives. There is no doubt that the poet makes his commitment to the immediate landscape and country of his choice. But the last line of the poem betrays him. But it betrays the fact that commitment does not solve the feeling of rootlessness and helplessness. So this feeling is always present in his mind because of the cultural differences which he had to face from the very beginning. That's all. Thank you.